for a pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, can we get a roll call, please, Cindy?
Ware. Here. Broughton.
Here.
DePalma. Here. Marshall.
Here.
Thurman. Here. Unruh.
Present.
Rumble.
Here. Looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Kathy.
I'll support it.
Thank you, Roz.
Sorry, Bob.
I heard her first. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, brings us into our reports. We have the treasury report. Okay, we have a general ledger report, and there's a designated in there. And then building department, we have that report. Recreation report. John, do you have anything you wanted to say?
Yeah, a couple things. We had the dances this past weekend. They went awesome. Daddy, daughter, and mother, son dances on Friday and Saturday. We got a lot of great feedback, and everyone was really happy about that. We got the gazebo, the basic framework of the gazebo out at the park finished. So there's still a lot left to be done, but it looks pretty good. And so we're really happy with it. So, and then the Bunny Hawks program that we just started for the first time this winter just wrapped up. We got tons of really positive feedback from the parents. Very, very happy. And we're actually considering doing another session again this year, but not until like late fall, like November timeframe. So we have a lot of interest, so we probably will for like basically the kindergarten, second graders through second grade. And then the magic carpet did get fixed out at the park, but we're just waiting for snow. So
Let's hope we don't get that.
Don't rush it.
yeah, so pretty eventful month last month, but everything's going great.
Can I ask a question?
If you were to pick a winter for it to be broken down, I think this was.
Yeah,
the-
this
Yeah.
is definitely the good winter for it to be broken.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until this weekend that the daddy-daughter was on a Friday, Saturday. People seem to like that better than the weeknights because of work and stuff?
They really did.
That's good.
Yeah, it worked
I'm
out.
glad that worked out good.
Yeah, it was really, really well received, and we had apparently bigger numbers than we've ever had. So I think that's a good strategy to do it on 2 nights. Plus, we saved some money with the DJ because we didn't have to have 2 DJs at 2 separate locations on the same night.
Right.
He came 2 different nights, but he was able to leave his equipment, and so it worked out really nice.
Well, and that's nice too, because like for families that have a daughter and
Exactly.
a son, if one can't, go, so that way they can stay home and then they get the opposite, so.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah, they really like
For
that.
getting a daughter ready to go to a dance too after pulling someone out of school and getting ready before you go to the dance, that would be a lot, so
Yep.
wonderful.
Yep.
Awesome.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks.
That brings us to the senior center report. Faye?
So, this probably should have been in your packet, but it was kind of last minute. I talked about the mobile, as Secretary of State coming. And so I've attached a flyer and also attached all the flyers for rocking and raking for this year. So it was just kind of last minute and get it together. So right this week starts our income tax. We originally were set at, I think, 60. They got a 5th person to come in to help with the taxes on the hour or every hour for all 3 days, and all 75 are filled. So, and I've had like probably between Friday and today, probably 8 people call and sign up. So it's going very well. And then this Thursday is the meet and greet with the community and the police department and the fire department at the senior center from 6 to 9. We will be having snacks. No dinner. And then next Friday night is our Friday night bingo, but we are also having a dinner open to the public and bingo players. The public, it's just from 4 to 6. It's gonna be homemade beef stew. It's in honor of St. Patrick's Day. Homemade beef stew, corn muffins, coleslaw, mini cakes, and a beverage for $8. So it's open to the public. And Rocking and Raking is on April 27th. And I'm looking for as many volunteers as I can get, so, because I've already got a list started for households.
How many people do you have signed up so far?
I don't really have anybody signed up, but I've got their list of their names. I think it's almost 10,
Okay.
so.
Thank you, Faye.
Thanks,
Yep.
Faye.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to trustee reports. Kathy?
Just wanted to let you know that I saw some mosquitoes out today. So, the township offers free mosquito repellent, so take us up on it. And it was nice to see a lot of new election workers at my precinct on February 27th. They did a great job. And so kudos to Roslyn and all the work she put into that. Other than testing the election tabulator, I had no other subcommittees that met last month. And I'm glad to hear the lift station at the sledding hill is fixed, even though we didn't get much snow this winter. And the gazebo in the tree library is looking really good. So thank you to everyone who's been working on that project for us.
Thank you. Steve?
Nothing, sir.
Okay. Bob?
Just along with Kathy, we helped out Roslyn. Actually, Roslyn did all the work for the election. We were just there to watch, I guess, basically. And then I'll let Roslyn talk about that. And then we had the sewer committee meet, but I'll let you talk about that.
Okay. All right, well, we will talk about that tonight. Dana?
The my Parks and Rec subcommittee met, and we discussed the Recreation Master Plan update, and that was gonna be something we've, under new business. So if you haven't read about it yet, you'll find out when we get to that. And then, I did drive by the gazebo too, and it looks really good, and that's about it.
All right, thank you. Scott?
Yeah, tax collection is complete. Moving forward, if you want to pay taxes, you can come in and get a revised statement, but they have to be paid directly to Oakland County now. And on this statement, there's an address where you don't have to go there, you can mail your check there. With that said, anybody that hasn't paid their 2021 taxes yet, the deadline for that is April 1st. And then Oakland County begins the foreclosure process. For people that need help paying their taxes or want to try to schedule a payment plan, Oakland County has a taxpayer assistance meeting that they can schedule with you. It's called a TAM, but it's Taxpayer Assisted Meeting. And if you want to call 248-858-0611, you can set that up with them. I think in the past, the Oakland County will send us a list of anything that they're planning on foreclosing, and we've never really had someone's home come up. It generally is non-conforming lots that people don't want to pay taxes on anymore because you can't really sell it. They've just owned it or purchased it because they wanted it. It's maybe in their backyard or their side yard. And I think when those homes sell, a lot of times people that are buying the house, they don't buy that extra little lot. And so they just go up on the market, and usually we even turn them down for the most part. So that's it.
Thank you. Rosalind?
Good evening. Thank you for attending the board meeting for Brandon Township. We have the township audit is scheduled for April 22nd through the 26th. The primary presidential election went very well. For early voting, we did have 201 voters. I was not anticipating that many, so I was excited to see. However, when you do look at the total of 201 compared to our voter count, it's pretty low, but I was kind of pleased because I didn't expect 201 people to show up. Early voting and election day overall went very well. We had about a 25% voter turnout on election day, but it was a really good practice for August and November.
Thank you. All right, the Board of Review appointments for evaluation appeals begin next week. You can call the assessing office to schedule an appointment if you'd like one. This month, I got to host the Oakland County Association of Township Supervisors meeting, and we had Commissioners Mike Spitz and Bob Hoffman there from Oakland County. And basically, we were discussing the potential increase to the police contracts and the fire dispatch contracts. So, and Chief and I will actually be going to a meeting at Oakland County tomorrow morning to voice our opposition to those. that are being pushed by Commissioner Woodward to try to unilaterally raise those, and the police are not in support of those raises either, but Mr. Woodward doesn't seem to care. So we are working on that, trying to stall that, and then I just want to say, hope everyone has a happy St. Patrick's Day and Easter. They're both this month, so, and that's it for me. All right, that brings us into correspondence. We have the Parks and Rec Subcommittee meeting minutes, BGYA letter of assistance letter for Board of Elections and allocation of funds, Election Commission meeting minutes, Sewer Subcommittee meeting minutes, and Road Improvement Subcommittee meeting minutes. All right, so citizens' comments, the first time is for agenda items only, so if any citizens have any comments on agenda items, please state your name, and you are limited to 3 minutes, please. Cheryl?
Want me to go to the podium?
Yes, please.
Cheryl Galt, I live in Brandon Township. I just have some questions, and I know you can't answer them now, but I'm hoping that they'll be brought up during discussion of some of the new items that are on the agenda. With the recreation plan, I was wondering why it was being put together so late when it was due February 1st of 2024. Under the recommendations, Carlisle says they would like to see the township take a robust outreach approach. So I'm hoping that we do that we have a lot of public input on the recreation plan. Kudos to our new recreation director because I love how it's been reinvigorated. The steering committee, they don't say much about the steering committee. I don't know who's going to be a member of that, but I hope you'll invite some of the public to be part of that. Because when you come to the public hearing, then it typically is approved at that point and there's no changes made. So I'd like to see people be able to have input before that. On the cleanup days, I was looking at the numbers, and the numbers have gone down, and I wonder if that was the impact of setting appointments as opposed to just lining up. I know I've called in the past and have not been able to get in, and I hate to see anybody not be able to get in when they want to take care of their stuff instead of dumping it on the side of the road. On the gravel roads, you show 206,000 available, and yet you're only using 195. And I just wondered why that decision was made. On the bidding, you talk about in one paragraph about getting 3 quotes, but then you go on in other paragraphs to talk about bidding, and yet you haven't defined the bidding. So either you need to change the language or something in that to make it clearer. And I support that we should still do bidding on higher contracts. And I'd like to see the full packet posted online so that we in the public can look at all of it instead of just the new business that's being posted. And that's it. Thank you.
Any other citizens? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. No discussion items tonight. Consent agenda, regular meeting minutes of February 5th, 2024. Regular bills in the amount of $22,294.53. Prepays in the amount of $487,669. Looking for a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Steve. Can we get a roll call, please?
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Brotman,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes, motion carries. No unfinished business, so that brings us right into our new business, the Recreation Master Plan. John, do you want to say anything about that?
Just that, I know it was brought up with the timing, and from what we've gathered or whatever, that our time, we're right on time with the plan and getting it going and having it
It's every
approved.
5 years, it's not due till 25.
Having it approved, technically,
Said in the proposal it was due at the
Then there's a typo in the proposal.
yeah, sorry if that, yeah. I just wanted to clarify that, so I just wanted you to know, and the board knows too, that the board has to approve it, has to be completely approved by February 1st of 2025. And so we have all the time to do the public meetings and everything like that, but
Yeah, It's in the letter here from Carlisle. It says 24.
Okay.
And I'm looking at the letter
Yeah.
right now, and it is 25 though.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is 25.
yep. But I wanted to make sure that you knew that, so there wasn't any confusion. But yeah, we had a good meeting. We're just gonna start moving forward with the process. So this is the first meeting after our initial rec meeting to move forward with that. So that's really all I have to say, because it's kind of on you guys.
Right, I think
As
it's
far
a,
as-
did we have people on this, do you remember if we had a steering, like if we had residents on the committee before?
I don't remember when we did, because that would have been in 19, 18,
Right.
and do you remember?
But I think it's a good
We
idea.
may have, I don't remember
Yeah.
specifically. We
I think
might
it's
have.
a good idea. We can see if anybody wants to be. I think
Yep.
that's a great idea.
Yep.
And obviously, the public input wasn't gonna just be at the meeting, because we mentioned
Right.
we mentioned at our meeting in February that we were gonna have where people can come and give input before the
Yep.
meeting, so.
Yeah, we were looking at their timeline, and that fell into like July, August timeframe. And then there's things that the board needs to do in the fall, so we want to get all the public input by like September. I think it was like kind of our deadline for that. And then the board can go through what they need to do, and then what we need to do with the specifications for the DNR and everything. So but we're right on schedule as far as getting it started now. They said you really need to get it started by March, so, with all the requirements, so.
Thank you, Jen.
Yep.
I just had a question that's probably more directed to you, Jason. So the payment is, we're paying half of $17,076. I was just wondering what line we're taking that out of. Is it a recreation line, or is it gonna be professional services?
It'll be professional services.
Services, okay.
I couldn't hear you, Jason.
Professional services. All right, any other questions? Okay, somebody like to make the motion?
I'll make the motion to retain Carlisle Wharton to update the recreation master plan at a cost of $17,076 and split the costs thereof with the village of Ortonville.
Thank you, Dana.
Support.
Thank you, Bob. Can we get a roll call, please?
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to the cleanup days. So you have the last couple years of loads there. Cheryl, just to answer your question, we didn't even fill the appointments we had last year, either one. And a number of appointments were reduced by the company, not us. How many they let us have per hour. So it didn't have anything to do with the appointments. Okay, so we're looking to approve the new contract for 2024. Again, they're gonna provide the dumpsters, the workers, and the contract is attached here, and it's not changing from last year. Kathy?
Their charges to us haven't changed since we started this in 2010.
They're going up now.
Somebody overlooked that one.
Oh, they don't watch us.
It's definitely been
But
good
anyway,
for
so
us.
it was a good deal, and they provide helpers
Yes.
that are, they're
In the equipment.
always,
Especially, I think his name is Mike. He's just
like,
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah.
he is.
And technically, the residents are supposed to put their stuff in the dumpsters, but the workers there don't make any of our
They don't
residents
even like
do
you to
that.
get out of the car
Yeah,
sometimes.
Yeah.
They're
So-
really good. So this is,
Drive up
this is a
and-
great program. So I'd like to make a motion to enter into and approve the 2024 Cleanup, Recycling, and Refuse Collection Agreement with Bedrock Express Limited as presented.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Steve. All right, any other questions? Can we get a roll call, please?
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to the gravel road projects. Scott and I met with Road Commission, and we went through where they recommend we put gravel this year. So we discussed all that with the funding. Cheryl, I will answer your question here too. We don't spend all that money because we don't know what the exact number is yet. So the bids might come in higher, and we have to have some extra. And it's not enough to do any more of the gravel roads. So, Kathy?
And that was kind of my question. Why can we change it to not to exceed the 206,318? Because we don't know what
Yep,
the
I don't have a
gravel
problem with that.
amount's gonna come in at, and chances are it's not gonna be lower.
Yeah, it's not gonna be lower than 195. That was last year's numbers, so,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't care.
But you could say, we could change that and just to spend up to 206,318.
I'm good with that. So does somebody want to make that
I'll make
amended
that
That
motion?
motion then,
Oh,
Scott?
No, you go ahead.
Oh.
I don't make motions.
To
I'll
allow-
let you guys have those.
Okay, to allow the supervisor to spend
Up
up to $206,318 for graveling approximately 4.46 miles of the gravel roads on the attached 2024 gravel projects list, and to use the Road Commission for Oakland County Tri-Party Funds in the amount of $56,308. Oh, these amounts are gonna be off.
No, that's the numbers. That's how much we
Oh,
get
that
from
is the numbers, okay. So for tri-party funds, 56,003 budgeted tri-party funds. 101,464,932, 100, $50,000 and road repair funds in 101, wait a minute, so what am I messing up on this?
No, you're right.
And
101.
road repair
And
funds.
road repair funds, 101,464,932, 500,
And there's 100.
$100,000 to pay for the gravel.
Yep, those three numbers add up to the 206.
Okay.
All right. So Kathy and Steve, any other questions on that? Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Clear.
Yes.
Broughton.
Yes.
DePalma.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes.
Unruh.
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. Motion carries.
Who made the motion and second?
Kathy
I'm
and
sorry.
Steve.
Perfect.
All right, that brings us to the policy amendment. After the last meeting, Kathy asked me to ask Stuart a question, and I did ask that question, and in response to that, he said that she recommended that we do change our policy to remove the sealed bidding process. Sure, we still have to get free quotes. It's just making it so it doesn't have to be sealed, because that's not state law anymore. So this is Stuart's recommendation after discussing Kathy's question with him, and we're both agree and are recommending that we amend our policy to remove the language that is no longer state law, or any law for that matter, in any amount to require sealed bids.
I went back and forth on this, just wondering if maybe we should increase the amount for sealed bids, but having been part of having sealed bids, it seems like the people that bid have a issue with submitting them, and I think it's a lot easier if we just forget it, yeah.
I agree. And sealed bids are typically 10 to 15% more expensive.
Yeah.
as well. And the last two that we tried have both been a nightmare, one being with the park where we ended up having to hire Fred as the general contractor
Right.
because we couldn't get one. And then with the senior center roof, that has gone south too. So we're working on curing that one too. So the last two sealed bids we've actually done have been very tough to deal with. So,
I'll make a motion. Oh, sorry, go ahead, sir.
No,
go
we were
ahead.
supposed to make a motion first before we discuss it anyway.
No,
Go ahead.
we don't.
Make a motion to approve the proposed policy amendments to the operations manual, section 4.11, as presented.
thank you, Steve. Thank you, Roz and Steve. Scott?
Yeah, and I'm gonna be the dissenting opinion on this. I don't see why it would make any difference for the bidders if they put it in a sealed envelope or they just give it to you and say, open it now. I don't know why that automatically increases the price. Sealed bids, they protect the board, they protect the bidders, the guys that are actually bidding on these projects, and it protects the public. It just makes sure that we're doing everything on above board. I don't see why we would want to get rid of this. So I'm a no.
And the reason we're getting rid of it, because it's the recommendation of the attorney and it has no basis in state law.
Doesn't mean it's not a good idea.
I didn't say that, I'm just saying that's, so, we have a motion on the table, any other questions? Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Broughton.
No.
DePalma.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes.
Unruh.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes, motion carries. All right, our next one is the revenue replacement funds. I know this is a little fun to track, but Kathy and I have had a few emails back and forth on it, but, this was drafted between Melissa and myself, our accountant, and, I wanted to say Scott, but that's not, Ken reviewed it as well, and he is also recommending that we do this to put this money, on our books, but it can't be, it's not in the budget right now, so that's why Kathy had asked before why it wasn't showing up in the budget. It's because it's a liability and it doesn't show up in the budget until you spend it. So when we do that, it'll come into the budget, but we are going forward. I know, if you notice on your designated report, you will see those funds on the front of that page now. They're just not in a designated fund, they're at the bottom of that page. So, just so we can keep track of them. But, so, and then we also got a refund for some of the money we had spent, and that money can go into designated, cause it was already in the budget and spent, and it was a reimbursement of part of what we spent. So that money can go into designated, and we're recommending we put it into the capital improvement account. So that's motion 1. And then motion 2 is putting the revenue replacement funds that used to be called ARPA into a sewer infrastructure project for the future.
When you say sewer infrastructure, that doesn't mean it's limited to sewer though, right?
Correct, any infrastructure. Kathy asked me that too,
Yeah,
so.
okay,
Yep, it could be roads, bridges, whatever.
okay.
Yep.
Or equipment,
Yeah, yeah, and we also put fire equipment on there, so, and we did spend 120,000 on radios, roughly,
Right.
so,
I just have one more question.
okay.
So it's in unearned revenue. Don't we have to declare our unearned revenue to the state every year, and haven't in the past they like confiscated it?
Not that I'm aware of. Ken didn't
I don't
mention
know, are
anything
you-
about it.
confiscated it.
Or taken it, yeah,
Never heard
I've never heard
that.
of that.
of unearned revenue? There was something going on about that
I haven't heard
in the
that.
past.
I'm not saying it's not true, I just haven't heard it.
Yeah, okay.
Are you talking about when someone doesn't, when it ends up in the unclaimed to the state of Michigan, I think is what you're talking
Is
about?
it, maybe
But
that's what it
not what
is.
this is.
Okay, so it's
Melissa, do you
different.
know what it is?
Yeah, that's what,
Unclaimed
property, yes.
what Dana's referring to.
Oh, okay,
That's if somebody is paid to you from an insurance company or
Company, right.
something like that, and you never cashed
Cashed
the
it.
check,
Right.
the insurance company has.
Right, or like a reimbursement from something, if you were getting reimbursed for something, you never claimed
Hmm.
the cash, the companies are supposed to turn that over to the state for you to claim your cash.
okay. Well, that's good to know that this isn't the same thing.
It's the same thing.
All right, any other questions? Would anybody like to make motion 1?
I'll make a motion to approve the transfer of $20,000 and $20,701 to designated 101-000-385 .000 for capital improvement.
Thank you.
Second.
Did I say that right?
Yep.
Good.
Stephen Rosley, we'll go ahead with a roll call on that one, please.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes,
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broutman,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes,
Rumble.
Yes. Motion carries. Would anybody like to make motion 2?
I'll
I'll
make
make-
motion to,
All right, thank you.
I'm just kidding. No, it's a joke.
Dana, thank you.
Okay, do you want me to read it or no?
You can, yeah.
Okay, to approve the spending of revenue replacement funds previously ARPA on sewer and infrastructure projects.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Oh. All right. Thank
Wait
you.
for
We
Bob,
got
that's
Steve.
all
I got
down
Steve
there.
on that. All right. Any other questions on that? Okay. Can we get a roll call, please, Cindy?
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broutman,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. Motion carries. That brings us to the, excuse me, mobile food establishments ordinances, and Jason is here if anybody has any questions on that.
Seems pretty comprehensive.
Yeah.
My overall question is, where was the need for this? I mean, what
All
brought
the
this up?
festivals and stuff that we have, when people
Right.
come in and don't have licenses, we have to have something for Jason to enforce.
Oh, we didn't even have licenses local?
We did have licenses, but we didn't have any rules that he had to follow. It was whatever, they were just using fire codes because we didn't have an ordinance for it.
And Jason, I think the village is kind of gonna be rolling along these same lines as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on that?
I'll make the motion to introduce for first reading the mobile food establishments ordinance, chapter 6, article 6.
4.
Or 4, yeah, sorry, I was like, trying to do that in my head real quick. Section 6-138-145, Code of Ordinances for the Charter Township of Brandon, Oakland County, Michigan, as presented.
I'll second.
Whoa. Yeah, I think Kathy was there first. Okay.
Yeah, throw down.
Any other questions on that? Oh, and this one does not have to go to planning commission because it's not zoning related, so
Okay.
according to Stuart, he can come straight to the board. All right, go ahead.
Thurman,
Yes,
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broutman,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes.
By the way,
Motion
just,
carries.
just a quick side note, because you talked about the planning commission. Are they working on getting us some verbiage for a new ordinance on this power generation stuff?
They're discussing it, but it's very limited by the state law, because right now the state law is what's in charge, and our ordinance really wouldn't matter if we did it, because if they don't like our ordinance, they can go around us to the state.
Okay, okay, I don't wanna, I won't belabor it, but we can talk about that later.
Well, I'm on the planning commission, so we are still marching forward to at least have something in the books for doing it, so at least we'll have something in case.
In case
They're
they get
gonna,
reversed.
yeah, they're gonna start repealing, apparently there's a bill to repeal it, but, you know.
And
all that
MTA is campaigning against it for townships as well, to bring it back to local control, so we'll see what
Correct.
happens.
That's
And
correct.
maybe it gets put on the ballot as well, right?
Potentially.
Maybe, right.
All right, that brings us to the last item, which is the Community Foundation gazebo project. John?
So in 2023, we had revenues received from the Community Foundation gazebo project of $55,451, with expenses of $38,860, leaving $16,690 currently in the carry forward for the project. A budget of $42,000 is needed to complete the gazebo project in 2024.
Okay.
So.
Questions?
Yeah, I had a question. Since we're taking money from the Park Development Tower, don't we have to show a budget amendment taking that money from that line to use on this project?
I think the verbiage that was in the motion explained that a portion of it would be coming from the carry forward.
Right, down at the bottom, it does say that.
Right.
We kind of went back and forth in an email regarding this earlier today.
Right.
And before, things got a little wordy in past motions when I tried to say from the carry forward and give the account number that it was coming from there. So I tried to streamline it, and the fact that the verbiage is there, that's where it's going to be coming out of.
Well, I'm not worried about the carry forward. I'm just talking about the designated park development tower funds, because it says we're taking 25,000 out of there. I thought maybe that needed a budget amendment showing that
That's
that.
gonna be part of it along with the carry forward.
Did Ken look at this too, or no?
Wait, let's see.
I believe it
I think John and I worked on it
John.
together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, why don't you, do you think it's a good idea to just put it that in the motion, the verbiage in the motion?
I can do it because but I'm not sure my figures are exactly correct. Because I've got, the current amount is 271,246 and, or 264 and 60 cents.
Right.
So that would go down to 246,264.60. I can,
Well, that
But
number's
we
not
don't need
really
to, we don't
relevant
need to say what
this.
it's gonna go down to, you just
Yeah.
need to say where you're taking it from. You don't need to say what's gonna be left in that
well, that
fund.
already says it in the motion that it's coming
Right.
from,
That's what
That's
our
what our
opinion
tower
was, that it's
funds.
already in there.
Right, so we don't need to say what that fund is gonna be at. I mean, we know the fund is where it is today, and you take the 25 out, and that's the
Right.
balance.
All right, would anybody like to make?
that's clear enough for the accountant?
I think
It is,
we
that
were
was
on-
the accountant's
yeah.
recommendation.
And kind of like what I told you today,
Yeah.
we've had those discussions. We looked into it, and it had like all the meat and potatoes that we needed, so we're kind of going forward with it.
Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve budget amendment to increase the budget for the Community Foundation gazebo project for 2024 expenses, with 17,000 coming from the carry forward and 25,000 coming from the designated park development / tower funds.
Support.
Thank you,
Was I
Damon.
supposed
Thank
to
you,
read the
Brian.
following, like the two below that too, Roslyn?
I think that you can.
of it.
Okay, for the following, budget 101-794-778.299, park development supplies 15,000. 101-794-802.756, contract services 27,000.
I'll second that motion.
Bob already did. You're tripling it.
I just wasn't sure if that was. I wasn't sure with the spaces there, if that was part of it or not, so that's why I paused there, so.
All right, any other questions? All right, Cindy?
I Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. Motion carries. That brings us back to citizens' comments on anything. Are there any citizens that have a comment? And limited to 3 minutes. Roger?
Hi, I'm Roger Ingles. Live at 29 South Street, Ortonville, Michigan. I also have property over in 60 Elizabeth LLC, which is my property. Currently, we had a land contract, a lease option for Chris Johnson here to buy that. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get a mortgage because we was told if it's over 50% burnt, it cannot be rebuilt because it's in commercial zoning.
50% what?
Because it's in commercial zoning.
You said 50%.
If it's over 50% destroyed by fire, it cannot be rebuilt. With that, basically, if you have $100,000 and there's 52% damage, the insurance company's on the hook for $52,000, not the full amount. Therefore, the mortgage company cannot mortgage it. As I've done further and further research on it, amazingly enough, we was at the Planning Commission to discuss this. They have a master plan that said we could not spot zone, and the property adjacent to it is now becoming residential. They knew this when we was at that meeting. Furthermore, I went through and found, back when I was working for the park trying to find land, that we had that property designated for a park. During that time when it was designated as a park, it was residential. In 2005, we hired Carlisle Wortman. In 2005, the map was changed to become commercial. This is a error because I went through a year and a half of meeting minutes for Brandon Township to verify if there's ever rezoned. There's 13 rezonings done, and never once was this property rezoned. The person that's there, who lived there for over 30 years, never received any notice of rezoning. The only spot it shows any type of rezoning, not in none of our record maps, none of everything else, except for that map that hangs on the wall that has that property colored as commercial. There is no other information, nowhere else, including Oakland County, the state, and here in Brandon Township, that can show that that property is rezoned. We need help getting that property zoned so Chris can get his mortgage. He already lost $20,000 on his first option. He has 6 months to get his option again. I have 20% ownership of it. I don't have controlling interest. My partner is a good businessman, very shrewd. It's cost Chris 20 grand over this deal. I would appreciate Chris wanting to follow up.
So we were specifically told the properties would not be rezoned, and then here we are, adjacent properties being rezoned. I kind of think that's out of line, especially considering you knew that was coming up. You told me there was no chance of rezoning, and now I'm out. It's not a good look, Brandon Township. Sorry.
If you would like, I'd be happy to provide you the documentation to show what I found.
I just have a question. Was it a residential structure that burned?
No, his shed burned on the residential property that we're trying to get a permit for, together with insurance to rebuild. Hopefully we can get that approved.
But the shed
But
was
if a
part of
house-
a residential.
Right, if a house is burnt over 52%, is that correct, Jason? That we can't, over 50%, we can't rebuild it?
I don't know the numbers.
Never heard that before.
Okay, that's what you told the appraiser on the phone.
I didn't tell the person.
Somebody told the appraiser that on the phone. We lost the deal because the appraiser was told it could not be rebuilt if it's over 50% destroyed. I had emails for that as well, prove that. That's why he couldn't do this. And again, this is a very critical issue, and it appears to be a direct error on just the coloring of the map. I'd like to get it resolved.
Anybody else?
Pardon me?
Your 3 minutes is up.
I'm sorry.
Your 3 minutes is up.
Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, it's village time too, so I gotta run over there. You see it right here?
My name's Ed Derbyshire. I live at 1125 Connell Road. And I have well, first of all, an update. My maple sugar farm didn't get any trees tapped this year because it was flooded and frozen because of the Granger Road issue. I did meet with the Drain Commission. They did say that the driveway culvert on the south side of Granger Road that runs on Perry Drain is below it's above the grade of the culvert that goes underneath Granger Road, which has caused my property and the other 50 acres to be totally underwater this spring. And they said they can't clear that out until the ice is gone, and they got to remove the guy's driveway culvert and get it down below the grade so that the Perry drain will actually drain water the way it's supposed to. It hasn't done it in quite a few years. They turned it over to the road commission because they said that driveway permits are the responsibility of the road commission. The road commission's really, they're not being very responsive. They just don't seem to want to fix it. I was told that it's not a building issue because the building department doesn't put in the driveway culverts. It's up to the road commission. So that's a pretty big concern. So I was trying to get my 7 acres that's vacant reclassified as farmland and for the maple sugar production, but like I said, they're not gonna, they denied it because they said they didn't see any evidence of the trees being tapped, which you really couldn't get to the trees to tap them, and I'm worried about them all dying. They're all major trees. They're all more than a foot in diameter, so they could be tapped, but you just can't do it. So my other comment on the road commission, it sort of pisses me off, but every apron of a main road, like I live on Connell Road, and when it goes onto Oakwood Road, those aprons are really terrible. They're full of potholes and loose gravel. And they grade the road good, but they just leave a bunch of junk at the intersection. And then when they fix the potholes, I don't know who gave them the engineering degree to do this, but they just go out and throw the black asphalt down in the hole without sweeping the hole out, making it for it to stay, and then it's gone. So it's a total waste of the taxpayers' money. I mean, I get two things, electric and my road, really, for my house, and you guys. But it's sort of a mess. And I know you guys just said that you just met with the road commission, and I just was wondering if there's anything that can be done. When they do these pothole repairs, they should do them the right way. I mean, we're paying a lot of money for that black stuff. It should be more than throwing 5 shovels full and patting it down with your foot and leaving. It's gone already, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other resident, or not residents, any other citizens? Yeah.
Just an announcement, the Brandon Township Public Library is having a two-hour session on Wednesday for people who are interested in becoming a trustee of the library from 6 to 8 at the Township Library.
Can you give me the dates and times? Can I get the dates and times again,
Can you
please?
repeat the dates and times for Bob?
Wednesday, March 6th, 2 days, from 6 to 8 p.m.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Seeing no other comments, any additional board comments, Kathy?
I'll just have a blessed Easter.
Thank you. Steve?
No, sir.
Scott?
Happy Easter.
Ross? Bob?
Have a nice Easter. Don't
Dan-
confuse the
oh, sorry.
leprechauns with the Easter bunny.
Dana?
Do you have that on Facebook for the library? If that's, it's been posted. I haven't seen it yet, but that way I can share it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it was on the library or the library Facebook.
Facebook, okay, I'll look for that, try to remember to share it if I can remember during my busy time, but, happy St. Patrick's Day first, that way
Right,
we
right.
get the leprechaun, and then we go to Easter, so then happy Easter, everybody.
Thank you. And I have no further comments tonight, so looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Dana.
Support.
Thank you, Bob. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries.